All right, good morning. Hey guys, I threw a challenge out at the beginning of the journal time and said, let's throw out how many contacts you're going to get for the day. And I literally got two people to submit something. So come on. It is 8:10, 8:12 in the morning. Get some accountability and some energy going for what you're going to do for today and commit to a number. You can do this. It's very fun, I promise. And the great and amazing June Fukal just joined the meeting. Good morning, June. We're so excited to have you. And there you go, guys. I don't know if that's just you doing this, but I love it. Great job. We're starting to see some people throw some numbers in there. Well done. Very, very good. All right. Hey, guys, we are so privileged today to have Mr. Mike Taufui joining us. This guy is someone that I've been watching from the day he joined our company, and part of the reason for that is because he shows up. When I think about Mike, I think about a person who shows up every day and does what he needs to do to get the job done. And I know all the other managers and the agents in our Union Park office would second that. So let's see, Mike, is Mike unmuted? I see he's still muted. There we go. Mike, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, man. Hey, thanks a ton for doing this today. We're so grateful, and I know a lot of these agents have a lot to learn from you today, so we're pumped that you're here. Maybe I see June on the camera. June, can you give me a head nod if you can hear Mike and I both really well, or a thumbs up? All right, sweet. Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll. So, guys, if you read the bio, Mike is poised really this year already to probably double his business that he did from last year. He's been in the business for just under 2 years. And again, just really cool. First year did, I think, 12, 13 transactions. He's just about there already for this year. And I'm certain with the momentum that he has going, he's probably going to at least double his transactions from his first year, which is awesome. So, Mike, couple quick questions for you out the gate. I would love you to share, what was it like starting as a brand new agent? I mean, you're a couple years into the business, but what was the struggle like, and how long after you got your license, if you remember? And I'm throwing these out to you. I never set you up for these, but how long after you got your license did you close your first deal?
Yeah, so at the beginning, it was really, really tough, which is, I think it's pretty normal. I started knocking doors the day I got my license. I was working a full-time job at that point, and I had 3 hours to knock. And I was so excited. And from then on, I knocked doors pretty much every day I could. And I didn't get paid a single penny until my 5th month.
Wow. Amazing. Did you hear that, guys? So knocking doors every day, 3 hours. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, you were full-time working another job, and you just happened to be able to bust out 3 hours a day knocking doors?
Not necessarily. It was, so my job was in the evening. I was a butcher.
Okay.
And so I was mainly focusing on morning Ascent. So
Good.
just anytime I could, Saturdays, there was a Saturday I worked from 8 to 8. I called everybody in my phone after one of Russ's SOI classes. So just anytime I can get in, I was determined to get away from my full-time job.
Love it. Okay, dude, I love that story. Now, for everyone listening, I mean, what would your advice be? Because we often hear, you made the comment even, you took 5 months and it was hard at the beginning, and that's normal. And I agree with you. That is pretty normal. In fact, we always hear these horrible statistics about brand new agents getting their license and it not working out. So what would you say made the difference for you, Mike? Why did it work for you versus, I'm sure you've seen people come and go along the path. What made the biggest difference for you?
Mindset, I would say. I mean, just feeding your mind the right things, watching, listening, reading, and being around the right people. When I first started, Rick Bentley and Chris Ferguson, both of those guys were a huge influence. And one thing they told me, I'm an amiable, analytical. They said you're going to have an issue with taking action. So pretty much just when you think about it, don't think, just go. Try to stay away from analysis paralysis. Take action. You're going to get more. You're going to get further that way instead of waiting for long periods of time to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And those are two great men. So I got to tell you, Rick, actually, just for those of you paying attention to some of Mike's story, Rick just commented that Mike was showing up to morning Ascent and to role plays 2 months before he got his real estate license. That's on the chat on here. But you talk about somebody wanting something, that's pretty impressive. So good on you. That's huge. So specifically, I mean, I like that thought, the analysis paralysis, avoiding that. Anything else that you'd say to these new agents that just got their license and might be in the thick of it right now of like, okay, I'm showing up, I'm making the calls. Will a deal ever show up? What do I need to do? How long does it take? All that good stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say playing the long game. If you got your license expecting to ride it out until you retire, just expect that. Don't think that you're going to just make all this money and get out of real estate. So that being said, I would say be patient and work your butt off. And on a long enough timeline, you can learn to do anything. And like George says, there's nothing in this business that you cannot learn or you cannot do. You just got to stick to it.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Love it. Okay. So let's talk about you and your experience. What was it that caused you to kind of turn the corner and get that first deal in the books?
I would say that would be confidence. It sounds kind of goofy, but it was almost kind of fake confidence. But George talks a lot about be, do, have. And right before I got my first contract, there was a listing. He asked me, "How long have you been in the business?" And it kind of shook me, but I just said 4 months, and I just moved right through it. So just having confidence, knowing that you're capable. You may not have all the competency there yet, but just move through it. You're the right person for the job.
Love it. That's a really cool story because I think that oftentimes we get so nervous about exposing our warts, and in that case the wart was, I'm a brand new agent basically, but when you do it with confidence and they see that, they will react. I always like to think that buyers and sellers, they can kind of smell blood in the water like a shark. And if you give any sign or hint of weakness, man, it is like you might be toast. So that's great. So I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of how some of what your goals are. What is your why? Like, why are you in this business? Why do you want to succeed? What is driving you every day? What is it that drove you to be working a full-time job and getting your real estate license and spend 12 hours contacting people that Saturday and all that good stuff? What drives you and keeps you rolling?
So to begin with, I've always, even before I got into real estate, I was trying to go down the path of an entrepreneur. I had an online store, was doing some drop shipping, did a few other things, an app, and I just kept on trying different things. And one day I got paired up at a golf course with a stranger, and he just randomly said, "Hey, you should probably try real estate. You're easy to talk to." And so the next Monday I signed up, and then 2 months later I was done with my courses.
Wow. And it took you 2 months?
Yeah, with a full-time job.
Yeah, with a full-time job. That's huge, dude. Good for you. Really good. Do you know who that stranger was that you golfed with?
I have his number, and I've thanked him a couple times.
That's so cool. I'm assuming he's in real estate as well, right?
No, he's actually not. He's a Great Harvest franchise owner.
Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah. All right. 3 cheers for Cinnaburst bread. All right. Okay, cool, Mike. Well, that's awesome. So what are you doing now? Okay, so like you're in the game, you're working, and you know you've kind of gotten over that hump of being a new agent and getting your deals done and stuff. What has continued to keep that drive alive and help you keep mentally strong to keep going and getting more and more transactions?
That's a great question. I would say I'll circle back to mindset. I think everything is mindset, and I will be completely honest. The past 4 months, a little bit of apathy has been setting in, and I'm trying to, I'm working through some things with my coach to get back on the gas pedal with it being halfway through the year.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that then. I mean, you just mentioned a couple of things, and look, the last few months have been a little bit goofy for everyone at some level, but let's just dive right in. You say you're working on your mindset. So whether it's now or 4 months ago or whatever, what are you doing? I always talk, when I talk about mindset and the foundation, I like to talk about, number one, we figure out a way to strengthen our mindset. And then number two is we protect that strong mindset that we've gained. So for you, Mike, what are you doing to strengthen and protect your mindset? What specific activities do you engage in to accomplish that?
Yeah. So my main things would be podcasts, books. Environment is huge. I mean, obviously there's a ton of agents here, so you can kind of pick and choose who's down the path that you want to go down, and just kind of get close to them. Pay attention to what they're doing, and then back to environment, just being around people with a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. And a lot of it is osmosis. Whoever you're around, you'll kind of raise up to that level, or it can go the other way.
Yeah, the old adage, you become who you spend your time with.
Yep.
Awesome. So let's talk about books then. The books that you have been reading and the ones that have been helping you. Do you have any that you'd recommend to this group?
Yeah, so Think and Grow Rich, I think, is like I know it's kind of a classic. Everest has kind of built a lot of its foundation around the concept of the book, but it's just been helping me focus on what my goals are for this year and what my goals are for 10 years down the road,
Cool.
And just always having that vision right there.
Love it. Okay, so Think and Grow Rich, which is a huge one. I love that as well. And if you haven't read it, guys, that one's kind of a must in your library. So get that one up and rolling for sure. Okay, so let's talk about some of the real nitty-gritty of your business and what's happening. So first and foremost, talk to us about a day in the life of Mike. What are you doing during the day? What does your schedule look like? Morning routine and all that stuff.
Yeah, so a work day for me looks like 7 a.m. in the office. It used to be 6. I'm moving some things around with, I have a little boy now, so that's the beauty about real estate. We can always fluctuate there.
Yeah.
But 7 to 8 in the office, reviewing scripts, chanting, role play, and then 8 would be obviously morning Ascent. 9 to 12 would be generating leads, prospecting, and 12 to 2 would be follow-up, returning calls, and grabbing a bite. And then from 2 to 6, depending on the day, would be showings and appointments. Or
Awesome.
If you don't have anything on deck, then more follow-up and prospecting.
Cool. Did you hear that, guys? So if there's no appointment set, you're back on the phone generating new leads and opportunities. Yeah, great. Okay, so then let's talk about in that morning routine and prospecting. Who are you prospecting right now? How many contacts are you getting each day? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so a full workday for me would be 30 contacts, starting with fresh FSBOs, expireds, and then jumping into just listed, just solds. Last year it was knocking. I shifted from knocking to just listed, just solds. Pretty much the same thing, just
Yeah.
A little way, different way of doing it.
Okay. Okay. So your FSBOs, expireds, just listed, just solds, and you've been pretty much doing that from day one, right? Those types of prospecting calls.
No. So I was kind of scared of expireds and FSBOs,
Okay.
which I think most people are in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my first year, my lead sources were only doors and SOI.
Okay. Cool. And I assume you're still working your SOI, right?
Yes, my
All right.
SOI is a big
I'll
part of my
jump into
business.
that in a minute more. So, I know there's a lot of people that have a little bit of that fear when it comes to jumping on the phones with FSBOs and expireds. What made the difference for you? I mean, what would you say to people who are out there either trying it right now and not feeling much success, to the people who are just choosing to not do it? What would you say to them to encourage them to either do it, or how to get over the hump and the fear?
Hmm. So I would say for one, you're going to be doing this for a long period of time. So again, back to playing the long game, don't expect to see results. You can get them pretty quick, but if you're going a while, it's just, I guess if I could just put it this way, if you call expireds every day for 5 years, you're going to get good expireds. You call for 3 months or 2 weeks and quit, it's game over in that source.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you're using, do you mind sharing which system you use for your leads?
Yes, I use RedX.
RedX. Okay, cool. Which is pretty common. And I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that we hear so often, I've been hearing it for my whole career, is, well, these leads aren't good. And I guess, how would you respond to that? I mean, I'm sure you've made plenty of phone calls where it's the wrong number, right? But there's enough of them out there that work. How would you comment on that?
I would say it's probably one of two things, and I'm guilty of both of them. It's not the leads that aren't good, it's that you're not good enough or you're not prospecting enough. Because
Yeah.
eventually it's going to happen. There's no way it's not going to happen if you keep on doing.
Yeah, this might be interesting to you and everybody on the phone here and the meeting, but we had a friend of our company who happens to be a real estate agent as well, but a builder, very low key. He put his house for sale by owner at one point, and he said over the course of 2 or 3 days that he had 10 real estate agents call him. And that's all. So you think about, there are 18,000 subscribers to the MLS along the Wasatch Front. Sure, you take out the the appraisers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, even if it's only 15 or 12,000 agents that are actively selling, or 5,000, it's more than that. But think how crazy it is that 10 people called this guy to follow up about the possibility of taking a listing. And we become overwhelmed and paralyzed by the idea that I'm not going to call because it's too much competition, right? It's way less than we might think. And second thought to that, kudos to you guys, 9 of the 10 were Century 21 Everest. So very cool. Mike, I'm sure you were one of those guys calling, so that's great. Okay, so morning, you've got your FSBOs expired, you're doing that, it's working out. How about your SOI? What are you doing to get repeat and referral business and family, friends, all that good stuff?
So I do leverage social media. I don't pay for any boosted post or Google or anything like that. I don't pay for anything. I just make sure and this is again when I started, George and all you guys tell all of us not to be a secret agent. So I decided to be completely opposite. So it's almost to a point where it may be annoying to some people, but everybody knows that I'm an agent.
Love it. So step one is just ensuring the fact that people are notified you're a real estate agent and you're here to help them. Fair enough?
Yep.
Love that. And guys, that's another interesting point that Mike's sharing, because over the years of teaching and training agents, I've seen this constantly, where people are afraid. They think they're going to be that pyramid scheme guy begging people for money or something, that's the feeling that they're going to give to their friends and family and stuff. Look, I'm here to tell you, Mike is here to tell you that if at very minimum you can just notify people, and I've seen that be a big turning point, Mike, over the years for agents, is helping them move from this idea of believing the call they're going to make is, hey, how can you put money in my pocket, to, hey, I'm calling you to make sure you know I'm in real estate. Let me know if I can help you. And I found a lot of agents that had some massive fear actually decide they could step into that type of role and into that conversation a lot more comfortably. So, Mike, here's another great thing, an observation I've had with you over the years. You are very teachable. I see you asking great questions. In fact, some of these Facebook things, you're always asking questions and trying to learn from people. What makes you so teachable?
Well, if you know it all, you can't learn anymore. And I just feel like, especially here at Everest, leadership and all the amazing agents, you got to leverage that. I've scheduled appointments with Dave Parker, Lou Tran, Justin Udy, and they're all super willing to give you time. And I'll just interview them. And whatever I'm going through at that time, I will cater, the interview to that. And I say jokingly that I'm a master learner, because that's the only thing I will master is learning.
Yeah, I love that. Very cool. So you're in a situation now where you've got a young child at home, and you are working some killer hours right now, and of course trying to make it happen. And again, I think you're poised to probably at least double your business from last year if you make the right moves. I'm certain that you will. How do you find balance in your home life and work life?
Yeah, so with balance, it's I don't think it's an easy thing. Dave Parker, I think it's Dave Parker. He says that he has an appointment with his wife every Friday night or something at 6. And so something like, just, it sounds goofy, but you have to schedule time with your family, make appointments with them. Otherwise, they're kind of overlooked and you kind of push them to the side. I would say that's one of the main things that help.
Do you pre-qualify your family for that appointment? That's the big question of the day.
Definitely some extended family, for sure.
Yeah, okay, good point, yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, dude, I hope I'm just sitting here looking on the chat here while we're visiting, and some cool stuff. Matt Salter says Mike is a great example of always looking for growth. Proud of you, brother. And then Jeff Morris says, one of the things that impressed me so much about Mike was his poise, his attitude, enthusiasm, and leadership mentality. He has inspired me since joining Everest. And then Brandon Earl says, Mike, thank you for always having a huge smile on your face. That's another good one, dude. You are always smiling and rocking in the office. So guys, just look, Mike shows up every day. He's clearly consistent with his prospecting, and he's come to the table today saying, yeah, it was hard. It took me 5 months to get my first deal, but I did it. And then since then, I mean, if he's been in the business less than 2 years, took him 5 months to get his first paycheck. All right, we're looking at a situation here where it's 17 to 19 months of business. And guess what? He's closed almost 30 transactions. So he's in a position now where he's closing multiple deals per month. And he probably, I'm guessing, or close to, hasn't gone a month yet without a paycheck. But it's not simple. He's given you the answers to the test question today. You got to show up. You've got to be teachable. You've got to be humble. You've got to do your role play. You've got to show up early. You got to make your phone calls every day, even when you don't want to. And the tough one, in the afternoon, you don't have any appointments to make. What do you do when there's no other business? you go out and create more business. So Mike, you are a tremendous example to what it takes to succeeding as a new agent. And I'm seeing amazing things from you now as you're becoming more seasoned and doubling your business. So huge congrats to you. Any closing thoughts that you would have for the group of people on the phone? We've got a bunch of people on here. Anything else that you'd want to share with them?
I would just circle back to what we started with. I would just say, break through the barriers, whatever you got to do to take massive action. Just fight through it and surround yourself with the right people. And I can speak to newer agents a little bit more. Obviously, there's a lot of heavy hitters in the office, but to any new agent, if you just want to vibe and just connect, reach out, more than happy to prospect together, set accountabilities, and yeah.
That's very generous of you. Did you hear that, guys? Reach out to Mike. He's opening his doors. And Mike, dude, the information you're sharing today is not just for new agents. It's the heavy hitters. Every person in this company could have learned from everything you said today. I promise you. So that's huge. So guys, pay attention to what he's saying, figure out what it is, and go and make it happen. Guys, thanks a ton for being here. Mike, you are the man. So grateful to have you part of this organization. You did awesome today. That is priceless information. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's take another look here at our chat because I want to see if anybody else is sharing how many contacts they're getting. Guys, I'm going to count to 10 in my head. Get yourself accountable and put on this chat thread how many contacts you're going to get today. It's huge. We've had a bunch of good people, right? Ooh, I love that. Someone's going out door knocking, which is great. Very cool, very cool. All right, here we go. 30 contacts, 21. Boom. Love it, guys. Keep it rocking. You've got to get these contacts done if you want to see the success. Mike, thanks again. You're amazing. Everybody, thank you for participating today. You are awesome in every way. We're so grateful to have you part of Everest and a part of this team. What a great way to start the day. Thanks to Mike. Everybody thank him if you see him in the hallway. And guys, have a great day. Let's close with some affirmations here and rock and roll.